Phil Ivey exposed a flaw in Baccarat, won millions. And casinos spent the next decade trying to erase it. They redesigned the cards. They retrained dealers. They upgraded surveillance worldwide. So here's the uncomfortable question. Did they actually fix it? Or can you still edge sort in 2026? Because if the answer is yes, casinos have a vulnerability. And if the answer is no, advantage players just lost their most famous weapon. Stay with me. The truth isn't what most people think. After the Ivey case, edge sorting became radioactive. Some called it brilliance. Some called it cheating. The court called it unlawful interference. But casinos? They treated it like a cybersecurity breach. This wasn't about one gambler winning. It was about a structural flaw being exposed on a global stage. And once that happens, industries adapt fast. Card manufacturers redesigned decks. High-limit rooms installed automatic shufflers. Dealers were trained to refuse orientation requests. Surveillance added behavioral tracking layers. But here's what most people get wrong. They think casinos fixed the cards. What they really fixed was the player. And that changes everything. Let's tighten the definition. Edge sorting was never about marking cards. It was about exploiting microscopic asymmetry in card backs. Not visible to casual players, but visible to someone trained to notice. If high-value cards were rotated, you could identify them before they were dealt. 3 conditions had to align perfectly. Imperfect manufacturing, dealer compliance, stable shoe conditions. Remove one, and the edge collapses. After 2014, casinos attacked all 3 simultaneously. Card backs became aggressively symmetrical. Deck rotation policies were standardized. Automatic shufflers disrupted orientation memory. Frequent deck swaps reduced long-term pattern buildup. So is edge sorting impossible now? No. And this is where it gets interesting, because asymmetry still exists. Manufacturing can't achieve perfection at an infinite scale. But here's the shift. Finding asymmetry isn't the real challenge anymore. Surviving surveillance is. Pause there. That's the evolution. Modern casinos don't just monitor decks. They monitor behavior. And behavior is harder to disguise than card backs. Here's what most YouTube breakdowns won't say directly. Even if you discover a technical edge, you may never collect. Post-Ivey, surveillance became predictive. They flag bet size acceleration, pattern consistency, dealer interaction influence, language shifts, repeated procedural requests. It's not about catching cheating. It's about detecting advantage intent. And here's the deeper twist. Casinos share intelligence. High-limit player profiles circulate. Heat travels across properties. Legal teams respond aggressively. They don't need to prove fraud. They just need to delay payout long enough to make it painful. Edge sorting in 2026 isn't technically dead. It's economically hostile. That's a different battlefield. So now we're back to the real question. Can you still edge sort, technically? In rare, loose environments? Maybe. Sustainably? Without surveillance pressure? Highly unlikely, because the vulnerability shifted. It's no longer on the deck. It's in the ecosystem. And ecosystems evolve against predators. The biggest mistake advantage players make in 2026? Chasing yesterday's edge. The smarter play today isn't exploiting asymmetry. It's mastering variance tolerance, table selection, bankroll precision, psychological invisibility. Because modern advantage play isn't about beating cards. It's about surviving systems. If you want real Baccarat analysis, not fantasy systems and forum myths, subscribe to Baccarat Report. And tell me below, was edge sorting genius? Or did it cross the line? Next, we're breaking down how casinos identify advantage players in real time. Because what happens at the table is never the whole game.